Hey, I'm Brigham at Outdoor Vitals. Today we're going to go through installing the shoulder pocket accessory on a couple different backpacks. This is generally a universal accessory. It's not intended for one specific backpack that we sell. Today I'm going to show you how to install it on the CS40 pack as well as the Shadowlight pack. It will also fit on our Coda UL travel pack. They all have shoulder straps that will accommodate the shoulder pocket accessory. Some tools that you may or may not need, but are going to be situation dependent. Something like maybe a mechanical pencil that has a fine pointy tip. You don't need the lead. You may find useful something like a flat blade screwdriver. In this case, it's on a little Swiss Army knife. And we'll get into that and why those tools might be useful. You may also need, depending on the pack, a pair of scissors. And if you need the scissors, then you'll need a lighter or a really hot source of heat. Okay, first we're going to show the installation on the CS40. Going to kind of turn that so we can clearly see this shoulder strap. You'll see on the webbing at the end of the shoulder strap here that passes through this tensioner. First thing we have to do is take this webbing and reverse it and pull it out of the tensioner here. On the CS40, we can actually do that with the way that this is folded over once at the end. It's very tight, but it's doable to pass that through the webbing. So what we're doing is reversing the webbing. So we're backing it out, and then we hit this point here where now you have to squeeze the end that's folded over. You have to kind of squeeze that as flat as you can against the main body of webbing to start to pass through. There's a little slot that the webbing goes through, and you have to pass essentially 2 layers of webbing back through it. It's a very tight fit, but it is doable. Sometimes that's where having a thin, flat object like a mini flat blade screwdriver. The first goal when you're backing this out of the tensioner is to just get one of the corners of that folded back section just started through the slot. Sometimes that's where you're having a little pointy object, can help a lot. Try to use this pencil. Okay, so you can see now it's started back through the slot. So we're just going to pull on that. Sometimes if you've got like a little pair of needle nose pliers, once you've kind of got that through, it can help, just because you might not have enough real estate to get a good purchase with your fingers. So having like a little, pair of needle nose pliers to get more leverage can be helpful. I didn't show that in the suggested tools portion, but okay, so now we're through that part. And the second slot is much bigger, so it's easy to pass through. Okay, so now the end is free. This is the connecting webbing that connects the bottom of the pack to the shoulder strap. Okay, so on the bottom of on the back side of the pocket, there's these 2 elastic kind of webbing loops. So we're going to start with the top loop and feed the bottom of the shoulder strap through that loop. And it's a tight fit, but it's meant to stretch around the shoulder strap. That's by design. So we're just pulling that over the back and up. I went a little too far there and missed the lower loop. So now you pass the bottom of the shoulder strap through the lower retention loop. Okay, and now you can just pull on this webbing and the clip here. Just pull on that up and over, and you'll see it's gonna go over the sternum strap here. So you just kind of reach under there and pull that underneath. So that will still have the up and down adjustability function. Just pull that up. So as you're sliding the pocket up the shoulder strap and about ready to situate it and attach it to this point, you just want to check and make sure that it's fully extended this way and not compressed at all. Okay, so then you just take that clip, pass it behind this load lifter webbing here, and then squeeze the end like that, and it clips on. So that's what kind of holds it from falling down. And as well, now you also, just kind of stretch that out so it's not pinching the shoulder strap. And it'll do that on its own once you put the pack on with weight and start wearing it. Okay. And you'll see you can put your hand through there on the bottom, so you have full access to the adjustability of the sternum strap system. So that's installed on the shoulder strap. So that's now installed on the shoulder strap here. And then you're going to secure your lower shoulder strap webbing. You'll see if you look at this, let me use this pencil as a pointer. Okay, using this pencil as a pointer and my finger is kind of a backdrop for some contrast, you'll see there's a bigger slot here, and then there's a narrow slot here, and the narrow slot is angled back that direction. So we're going to take the free end of the shoulder strap webbing, making sure it's in alignment, so just lay this flat and follow it out like this without any twists. And you're going to go up through the large slot, pull, and now you're going to take the leading edge where it's folded, you're going to push it back through the narrow slot that's angled backward. This is again a tight fit, and you kind of want, this is where having maybe a pair of needle nose pliers can be even more helpful, because you're really just trying to get a corner or something, some part of this started in the slot, and then that's where you want to come along with maybe a flat blade screwdriver and gently kind of prod that through. See, I got a little bit more of the corner in there, so I'm just going to try to work it through. Okay, you can see that I've got now both leading corners of the webbing through the slot. And you just kind of push and pull as best as you can until you get enough purchase to pull that through. So you pull that through, and you want to double check just visually that you have indeed gone through this slot and not this hole. This is just a weight-saving hole that does not retain webbing. If you accidentally put it through there, this webbing will slip when you pull on it like I'm doing. So I'm pulling this way and it's tight, no slippage. Test it for function, test it for release, and that's full installation on a CS40. So now we've got the pocket in place, we got full function of the sternum strap adjustability there, we've reinstalled the webbing correctly, and we're good to go there. Okay, so now we've got the Shadowlight. So again, this is what I would call a traditional backpack strap, which is going to be compatible with the shoulder pocket accessory. The difference on the Shadowlight is that on the end of the webbing, it's folded over twice. And so the end of the webbing here on the fold is really thick. And so it won't pass through backwards through this tension lock. So with the Shadowlight, what we have to do is just, with a pair of scissors, just cut that piece off. You're gonna lose about an inch of webbing. It's not a problem. So just gonna wanna be as conservative, or as conservative as possible with how much you cut off, just to save webbing. But basically just slide the scissors underneath and cut right up against the bar tack. Snip that off. And then just use the lighter to melt the ends of the webbing so you don't have any fraying. Give that a couple taps with the side, pinches, and it's good to go. Okay, so we're done with the lighter, done with the scissors. Now, I'd also like to point out that cutting the folded portion on whatever backpack you've got is always an option. It's just going to be a personal preference. If it's important to you to keep that original fold over, some people are just very cautious that way. Go ahead and do that. And if you've got a CS40, then those instructions will work well, or similar pack where the webbing is just folded over one time. However, we have a ton of experience and use with single layer webbing and tension locks, and it's not something that you need to worry about this webbing slipping back through and passing through and having an issue. So if you want the quick and easy option, no matter what the pack is, to installing the shoulder strap, just cut the end and melt the end, and it's really quick, and I'll show that right away. So we're just going to pull that like that. Start with the top elastic band, feed the bottom end of the shoulder strap through there. I'm going to stretch the elastic band so it fits over. Once you get that started, grab the end of the shoulder strap, grab the clip on the pocket and pull up. Make note that you have to pass the bottom of the shoulder strap through this bottom elastic. Okay, so you've passed it through both pieces of webbing. Hold the bottom of the shoulder strap, pull up on the clip until you've got it in position. Now, with the Shadowlight, you'll notice there's a bar tack point here, and there's a bar tack point up here. So you kind of have two different placement options. You can put the clip right under there and clip it, and you have a little bit lower placement on the shoulder strap. Or if you unclip that, you can pull it up a little higher to where the load lifter webbing is bar tacked to the shoulder strap, pass that behind and clip it. Check that it's fully extended so you're able to make use of the full length of the pocket. And that's the pocket installed. Check to make sure you've got the sternum strap adjustability function for up and down. Give the Make sure it's kind of situated on the front of the shoulder strap. And then all that's left to do is just reinsert the shoulder strap webbing connection. So again, we're going to follow that out with our fingers so it's laid flat and not twisted. Take it and pass through the larger space in the tensioner up from the bottom, pull it up and through, and now we're going to pass the end back through this middle slot, and the slot is angled back that way, and that's what creates the tension and friction. So again, when you cut the ends of the webbing, it's incredibly fast and easy. There's tons of space, so you just pass it through there, grab the free end off the bottom, pull it through. Our visual check is that the webbing is passed back down through this slot and not this opening. And then the physical check is to grab the shoulder strap, grab this secured end of the webbing, and pull opposite directions, and you get no slippage. Test the tension lock for function, so that's the adjustability, so we're able to tighten it and then pull on it again and make sure it doesn't slip. We're able to loosen it, okay, and it's fully installed. So again, that's how you have to do it with the Shadowlight, but you can cut it and melt the ends on any pack, and that's the fastest, quickest, easiest way to do it. So this pocket is universal for most backpacks that have shoulder straps in this style or configuration. So the one thing that you have to look at is the end of the webbing. If it's folded over, test it. You know, if it's folded over, see if you can actually get it through the tensioner. If not, just cut it and melt it, and you should be good to go. Okay, so that covers installation of the removable shoulder pocket accessory. It works for the 3 backpacks in our line that have kind of the traditional shoulder straps. It's a really useful accessory. It's definitely worth having at least one in your arsenal. If there are questions beyond what was covered in this video, feel free to reach out to customer service and we will be happy to help you in any way we can.